Greetings. Hi, I'm Dr. Walter Jacobson, a board-certified psychiatrist. Welcome to Change Your Mind. I want to talk about prayer studies. You know, people talk about praying and whether praying is actually a viable exercise, whether it actually does anything or not. Are you praying to God? Is God listening? Is God busy? Is God out of town? Does God have a lot of things on his mind? You know, does prayer actually work? If everybody who's in battle in wars are praying to God, you know, who does God listen to? Who, you know, the righteous ones? Who are the righteous ones? Hard to say. I mean, but the question really, in my mind, is whether there's a God sitting on a throne, you know, making these kinds of decisions: who's naughty and nice, who wins, who loses, who dies, who survives. You know, that could work that way. I personally don't think it works that way, but I do believe in the power of prayer. I think a prayer is a form of intense affirmation. There's an intense emotional desire connected to a very pointed goal or request, and it could be very powerful, and it could have consequences, and it could work. Now, why do I say that? Well, a guy named Larry Dossey, Dossey, I believe, did prayer studies on the power of prayer, and he used pea plants because these pea plants are genetically identical. Everyone is exactly the same genetically. So there's no variables. So like if you pray for a pea plant to thrive, and each pea plant you pray for has the exact same genetic potential for survival. Okay, so what he did is he set up studies for pea plant survival, and he had a bunch of pea plants over here, and people would pray for these pea plants to thrive. And they had all the environmental conditions were also the same. So nature, nurture, the genetics were all the same, and the environment was all the same. They all had the exact same soil composition. They all had the exact same temperature, the exact same sunlight, the exact same moisture and water, nutrients, etc. Everything was the same. They were all identical. All right. So then he had one batch of identical pea plants, another batch of identical pea plants, and a third batch of identical pea plants. The first batch, he had people pray for them to thrive and survive. The second batch got nothing. No one prayed for the second batch. The third batch, the people did not pray for them to thrive or survive. They prayed that God's will would be done in that matter. Okay? So, the studies demonstrated that those where people prayed for the plants to thrive and survive, those plants thrived and survived better than the plants which had nobody praying for them. And interestingly enough, the plants, the batch of plants where they weren't praying for them to thrive and survive. They were praying just for that God's will be done in the matter, whatever God wanted. That's what's best. That's what the prayer people wanted. Those plants did better than the plants where people prayed for them to thrive and survive. Okay, well, you know, look it up, check it out, see what you think. But also consider the possibility that it might be true. And so consider the possibility that if you choose to pray, that you pray that God's will be done, as opposed to praying for some specific outcome. Anyway, it's all food for thought. Take care. Peace be with you. See you next time.